So just to recap on this point, if you're going to use anybody else's content that's not 100% yours, if you're going to do it without permission, I would keep it under 4 seconds for sure. But then also you want to think about the will that you're creating. Is it good will or is it bad will? If this person whose content you're using were to see your video, and there's a good chance they will, how are they going to feel about it? Are they going to feel like it's validating them, that it's supporting them, it's making them look good and bringing good things to them? Or are they going to feel a little bit ripped off? Are they going to feel like you're taking something that they've worked hard to create and you're taking it for yourself? So put yourself in their shoes, think about it from their perspective. Chances are if you're bringing good attention and good things to them, they're going to be quite happy that you're using this, even if you didn't have permission. But if you're just taking it for yourself, you're trying to get views, you're trying to make something off it and they get nothing in return, then there's a good chance that they will flip that switch to have your video shut down, and that's not going to lead to a good place for you.
So I do have to say here, maybe this is a great way to end this video, Grant. I remember sitting down with you and realizing, wait a second, your back-end YouTube Creator Studio looks a little bit different than mine. Mm-hmm. As you've reached some higher levels of success, you've got some options that my Creator Studio actually doesn't have. And I remember when you started showing me this, like, oh yeah, Kris, people are ripping me off all the time. But look, YouTube flags it, they put it in my back end, and then I've got some options on what I can do. Do you want to just share for a moment? Because I don't think some people understand what might happen, that if they want to just rip you off or take your stuff or copycat you and do some of that, YouTube actually, instead of them necessarily being the judge and jury and executioner, they actually give you as the creator some options on what you want to do with the content that these people have ripped off.
Yeah, that's right. It was a huge issue for me where I was filing hundreds of copyright complaints a day and having videos taken down. It almost became a full-time job just to take down all the videos that were being stolen. So at that level, YouTube gave me some options to manage my own account. They gave me a content ID system, which is basically an automated process that uses an algorithm. It fingerprints my videos, and then anybody who uses content from any one of my videos, it matches those.
Dude, check this out. This is so cool. When I saw this, I was like, no way. And it got me thinking, okay, Kris, make sure you always do things above board because you don't want to upset anyone, especially if they have this kind of power. What power do you have when the algorithm says, hey, we've taken your fingerprint on your stuff, we've matched it to theirs. What can you do?
Well, the cool thing about the system is it's completely automated. So any video that pops up that matches my content, I can have it automatically process that however I want. I can even have the video taken down.
Boom.
Which
not YouTube doing it. Grant doing it.
Yeah, and if the video is taken down because of a copyright issue, that could give the channel a copyright strike. And if you get 3 copyright strikes, your channel is terminated. So think about the risks you're taking there. The other option is you can keep the video up, but you can take the monetization.
Oh my gosh.
So
this is for a moment, I was just like, what beautiful irony. It's like, so these people are like, wah, and they start making a pile of money with it, and you're like, we're just going to transfer every penny of that every day into my account.
Yeah, so theoretically, if somebody were to take 10 or 15 seconds of my video and put it into their 10-minute video, and their video got 10 million views, because my content idea has claimed that video, all the money for that monetization would actually flow to me. The creator would get none of it because they didn't get permission and it wasn't authorized in advance. So that's the risk that you take by using somebody else's content. If you're not getting permission up front, you're taking the risk that you may get your channel terminated. 3 strikes and you're out. You're taking the risk that somebody else might take your monetization. But, I think the safest way to go is get permission. If you can't get permission, use as little of the content as you can. If you can't make it originally yourself, use about 4 seconds or less. And as far as the music goes, there's plenty of sites out there where you can get royalty-free music. Yep. Audiojungle.net is one place where for about $20 a track, you can get some really great music. Actually, there's a whole music library in YouTube.
There is.
YouTube has a whole music library. All of that's free, all that's royalty-free. If your video gets featured on TV, you don't need any extra licenses. It's all included. So,
when I think about this whole trademark issue, I think years ago, my wife and I, we traveled to the Holy Land. We went to Israel. And one of the things that we noticed is that we had all of these citizens that were just packing these big guns everywhere they went on the street. And at first that made me really nervous. It's like, that is so weird to have people in public carrying, these AK-47 guns over their shoulders. I'm like, well, that's kind of crazy. And I was talking to someone about it, and they said, actually, we have one of the safest and most polite societies. I said, really? Then why is everyone carrying guns? They said, That's why it's so polite, because everyone's always packing heat. Everyone always knows that everyone's packing heat. It's actually a safety measure for the entire state of Israel, and to why they do that. That's what allowed them to win their last war, because they had an immediate call to arms. But what that does is it creates a really polite society. And when you think of our copyright here, take care of people, do right by people, give people credit where they should. Bottom line is, if you keep it above board, you're keeping it polite, and you're doing right by other people, and that means at the end of the day, you get taken care of too.
And if you have any other questions about whether what you're doing is okay or not, you can look into fair use copyright law. There are some circumstances where you can use people's videos without their permission, as long as it meets the fair use criteria. But you do need to be careful, because if you abuse that privilege, or if you're outside of it, that can become a legal issue. You can go to court, there can be attorney's fees, and a lot of stuff that you really don't want to get into. So be safe, use 100% original content if you can. If you must use somebody else's content, get permission to do it. If you're not willing to get permission, then just understand you're taking a risk, and just use as little of it as possible. And then from there, it just goes downhill. So we wouldn't advise you get into that. But hopefully that gives some perspective, puts it in a nutshell, and you can get on Google, look for royalty-free providers out there. There's Pond5, and there's also providers out there like Epidemic Sound, where you just pay a monthly subscription fee, and then all the music that you want to use is fine, licensed for television, and there's just no questions asked.
Oh, we love them. We use them all the time. We got their subscription actually, so we've got unlimited use till using all of their tracks.
Yeah. So we may put a link down in the description to where you can sign up for one of our affiliate links, but there's a lot of options out there for royalty-free stuff. Get permission, get the licenses, and you have nothing to fear.
Hey friends, thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you for watching this video. We want you to know that we appreciate you. If you're not currently a subscriber and haven't rung the bell, we can't notify you about the new video that we're going to be sending you tomorrow. So make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell, so that we can get you some more information. And remember, above all, when it comes to copyright, keep it above board.